Yes, hello, good afternoon, and hello everyone. I would like to thank you all for your participation in this webinar. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Ravita Lawrence. I'm the Global Marketing Manager for Multipoint Group. I'm pleased to introduce AnyDesk to this webinar audience. Today's topic is going to be providing excellent IT support from anywhere. I'm honored to present AnyDesk team. We will start with Miss Natalia Komodin. She's the channel sales account manager, and Mr. Ruben Muller. He is the technical consultant. Our agenda for today, we first will start with a brief explanation about Multipoint Group to those of you who haven't heard about us yet. After this part, I will give the stage to Katerina and Ruben. They will hold the session for around 45 minutes or so. The last part of the webinar will be open for Q&A and closing. Feel free to send us messages in the chat box or hit us an email. So let's start. So who is Multipoint Group? Multipoint Group is an international value-added distributor. The company specializes in cybersecurity and threat intelligence solution. We have an impressive portfolio, including protection, monitoring, and encryption. The company was established in 2009 by Ricardo Resnick, our CEO, and our headquarters is in Israel, but we operate in many countries, which I will specify later on. The focus of our efforts is in three main areas. It's in cybersecurity, in network solutions, and in professional service. Here we have our own professional team to guide you through. Basically, we combine between people, service, and technology. This is something we are unique in, and we are proud to do so. As stated before, we are international. We have offices around the globe, and we have representatives and sales team. We operate in Greece, in Cyprus, in United Arab Emirates, in Romania, in Bulgaria. We just opened a new office in Singapore, Estonia, Poland, Malta, Turkey, and Central Asia. Here you can see only some of the vendors we are representing, we are distributing. We are proud to be their distributor, as you can see, and you can recognize many of them. They are very big and international companies. Just a small glimpse about Multipoint structure. We have 4 main departments. We have our excellent sales team in Israel and around the globe. We have the back office, we have the marketing team, and of course the IT team who can help you to implement AnyDesk solution and give you answers to your questions. After giving you this brief explanation, I'm happy to forward this stage to AnyDesk team. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
AnyDesk as company, AnyDesk as software, AnyDesk as team, sales channel team, and tech support team, presented today by Robin Müller and by myself. Today, AnyDesk is a company that is developing so fast that we are mentioned in different kind of statistics and European leading company magazines as one of the most effectively and fast-growing young company. AnyDesk, just allow me to jump. AnyDesk was founded in 2014 in Stuttgart, in Germany. It's not a secret to say that the founder of the company, developer Mr. Philip Weiser, and other 3 colleagues of him have been working for years for another company also in the field of development of remote control software. and they were so good and were innovators in their field of business that they wanted to implement something new and to create something new technology in that kind of business that they wanted to have it in their own way. And they founded their own company. It means like they have very long lasting experience in the field of remote software development, and they implemented it in their most effective and prosperous way, as you see it today by AnyDesk company. So we're really growing. We have headquarters in Europe. We have headquarters in Germany, Berlin and Stuttgart, in Florida and USA, in Clearwater, in Hong Kong, in Shanghai, and we're growing faster and faster. We do not exclude that we also have other departments opened in the next months and years. One of them has already come this year in Georgia. It's our strong partner and in the field of development, and we're already working closely with them. So we are spread over 190 countries. I think the statistics is not very currently updated for now. I'm sure we are growing even more faster, and we have more than 500 million installations in total. And so AnyDesk is very popular within users all over the world. And our best advertising is advertising for ourselves, for our quality, and for our products. We are, I say always we, because AnyDesk would say we are. AnyDesk offers superior performance. It is very, very fast. So, and it is fast because it has very high frame rate, low latency. It is efficient, has very efficient bandwidth. It means that it can be downloaded from everywhere, even in the spaces all over the world where it's very slow internet. Just go for it, download it, and you can connect to the remote machines wherever you want. One step before I need to make, it is remote control software. So basically, we're talking about the type of usage when one user on the one side is connecting to another user or device on the remote side, and he needs to do some actions on the other machine. So basically 90% of our user cases as IT support cases listed are aimed at the work of administrative groups, so admins working, but other 10, maybe 15% of user cases are still cases connected to the home office, to starting cases, as well as to cases when unintended access should be set up. For example, control over machines where no one is present, like bank terminals or advertising dashboards, billboards, some medical equipment devices, something like this. That's why we say we can be spread over everywhere. You can just download AnyDesk and work the way you want to use it, just about the user cases. And talking about the superior performance, we need to say that a special technology was implemented also by the founders of the company themselves. It was called Desk. I come to it. It was called Desk RT technology. It's innovative code that allows to compress and transfer the images in the way that no other software can do it. That's why the data transfer between the computers is so fast, and the software itself is very fast and very effective. One more point to go for AnyDesk is that it could be implemented on every operating system. It could be working on Windows, macOS, everywhere. You all see them listed here. So it's cross-functional software working on different platforms. And it also can be installed and implemented on mobile devices. So just go for it, use it, and you see how effective it is. One more advantage for AnyDesk is that you don't need to pay for mobile device support. It is already included in our price. So as you are also emphasizing that you're working in the cybersecurity high-level section of business, we say and emphasize that AnyDesk offers military-grade encryption. It's very secure technology. You see here listed the standards that we go for and we comply with. So they are self-explaining for you. I think you definitely know them. So AnyDesk, besides this normal standards of security and cybersecurity, AnyDesk offers special settings in the software itself that could be implemented, that application of the software on the both sides is very secure and answers to the highest security standards. But we can come to it a little bit later, talking about on-premises solution. So, and this was the codec I already mentioned. It's DeskRT codec, special one implemented and invented by AnyDesk. And also the fact that AnyDesk is so small as the file to be downloaded allows it to be fast, effective, and very light one, as we call it. Very light, can be just downloaded and you can work and connect wherever you want to. User cases we mentioned, but they are just in general, just the overall general overview of the end user cases we face every day with. So some of them are more technical, some less. I think Robin will be talking about the more technical issues and technical options of the software that maybe give you more details how you can present it to the end users, because always end user cases are different. Some of them want to have it in a basic way and they go for basic solution and basic license of AnyDesk. Others want to have more details, how they can implement the high security standards and settings, how they can use some packages like MSI package, and then they go for these details and you already know, okay, it's another segment, it's another license. So now we come up to the licensing types of AnyDesk, but before that, we just mentioned AnyDesk offers on-cloud solution as popular and known everywhere. So just all data is going through the cloud, it's working with the access to the internet, normal cloud solution. And AnyDesk is special software that offers also on-premises solution. It's not every company in the market working with remote control software offers on-premises. That's why we always emphasize before we introduce our licensing that AnyDesk offers basic solutions and on-premises. Just in case your customers go for on-premises and want to hear more about it, please go for AnyDesk. We are number one in this segment. I give a common overview about the licensing types because, as I mentioned, every end user case is different one, because usually we always set up the normal questions asking our end users, how many people will be working in your team, how many of them will be belonging to one team, how would you like to monitor them, etc., etc. And this will mean what kind of license you will offer them to. Performance, both of our licenses are based on the number of users or yes, users that will work with this license. Basically, performance can be enlarged with each amount of number of users you want to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 users, etc. But it offers some kind of options that are called basic ones. So the setup for the software with performance license will allow you to do all the settings you need, but some advanced settings, for example, for security will be missing. And in this way, you will go for enterprise solution because it offers more advanced settings that allow you to work with AnyDesk in another way and to offer a higher level of security using, for example, special advanced settings and another way of customization of the customer client. It also includes MSI package, which is something special that performance doesn't have, and it also offers group policies. So at this moment, I just mentioned one more. It is called pricing. That's basically the core business for us. So it's always about pricing, end user numbers, and end user cases, where we start to calculate what the whole solution will be as calculation in the end. And in this way, I want to mention just one more document for you. Excuse me for the PDF view, but still, this one can be sent to you, to your partners, wherever you want to have a full overview with all features and pricing listed. And this is the pricing. Basically, performance one user is to 1038.80. It's just end user price. So we're not talking about pricing for Multipoint directly. And this is the pricing for enterprise solution. And as you see, it has basically all the options listed, and all advanced are under the enterprise solution. Basic ones are under performance. If you want to calculate any solution for your end user, just set up 3 questions. If they need on-cloud or on-premise solution, how many people will be working in the team, or how many admins will be working with the software. Maybe they can give more details of the end user clients. And the third question would be if some special maybe options are needed, like GPO or MSI package. In the case you hear it is something about high security standards and advanced settings, just go for enterprise. It will be the correct one. Anyway, we offer our support to you in channel team and tech support team every day. Wherever any questions come along, go please to us, ask us, describe the end user cases, and we will help you to find the right solution for you. channel sales team is available under the email partners@anydesk.com. And tech support team will be available for our existing customers with a support button that they will always have in their account when they buy the license. But for you, definitely, you can also reach us through the partners@anydesk.com, and we will answer all your questions during this session or after it. From my part, it is the overview regarding the processing, the software, and the company itself, just very common one. Every case is different. Please do not hesitate to contact us. Write us an email, go for it, and we will be happy to help you and to cooperate further and develop our common business with you. Thank you so much. I stop sharing now and give the word to my colleague, Robin.
Thank you, Natalia. So I'm going to show you a little bit of how AnyDesk actually looks like, how you can use it, and pretty much go through you to the very common use cases that our customer are using AnyDesk with. So I'm going to share my screen now. And right here, I just opened up AnyDesk for the first time. So yeah, the first thing that you will see once you open up AnyDesk is this 9-digit ID, pretty much in the foreground. So this 9-digit ID gets generated the first time you start AnyDesk. And this ID is randomly generated, and this will then stay with you until you uninstall the client. It's pretty much your ID that you will be using throughout to connect to other clients and for other clients to connect to you. The thing that you see here under the ID is the so-called alias. The alias itself pretty much is part of the ID, and the alias itself is a name that can be chosen by our customers. So right here, this is just pretty much my host name that I'm using, but also the name can later on be changed. After the @ sign right here is a so-called namespace. With AnyDesk, we have two kinds of namespaces. We have public namespace. So every user in the whole world is able to use a public namespace, which is called @AD. But many of our customers also have the ability to create personalized namespaces. And those namespaces can be set up by themselves, and only their licensed clients will be able to use it. The great usage behind that, I will tell you when I actually show you the admin side of it. But before we start with the admin side, I just want to show you, well, the main feature of AnyDesk, of course, is to connect to like another device. For that, I prepared something. I prepared like a small Windows machine, this one right there. And I'm going to connect to this one. So technically, I can literally just write the ID of the other device right there and click on connect. But I also have it in my recent sessions because I was connecting to this one right there. And I also set this one to my favorites, so I'm able to see it right there. And I also have the ability to set up like the ID in different kinds of address books. For that, I can jump into the address book. And here we see like different kinds of address books. I can even create more than one address book, as many as I would like. And I even can set them up with different tabs. Like, so for example, a different tag right there to actually see only specific addresses that I would like to connect to. So yeah, there I have the ability to just double click on them, and then a session would start to the other device. So let's connect to this other device. Again, I'm just using it in my favorites, just double clicking on it, and then the connection itself will start. So right now it asks me for a password. That brings me to the two types of ways of how you're able to connect to other devices, the two types of ways. The first one is the interactive access, where the end user on the other side has to allow the connection to happen in order for the session to start. But there's also the unintended access, where a password on the other side can be set up, and then you can immediately connect to the other device. Before I type in the password and show you what that looks like, let's just see what happened on the other side while I send out that session request. So I'm going to jump to the other side, and what you see here is that a new window opened up. That window is the so-called session window. That is pretty much where the end user is able to manage the session that is happening during the session itself. So here the end user has different kinds of abilities even before accepting the connection. First of all, he has a little chat window where he can actually write to the other person. before the actual session itself will start. Then he has the ability to, for example, take off specific permissions or allow specific permissions. For example, this one, if I click on this one and I remove this one, then the person that is connecting to me will not be able to have remote control, like on mouse and keyboard. The same is also with the file transfer. We have an option to actually transfer files between sessions. This can also be turned off. And as you can see, there are different kinds of ways to actually turn off the sessions and pretty much, so the end user can pretty much decide what kind of session he actually wants to run. For example, we also have the session recording. We have the ability. So for example, if I connect to another device, I have the option to record that session and save it on my device. Also the whiteboard feature. And we also have an option for a privacy mode. For example, the privacy mode, this is especially useful for our customers that are using home office. They are connecting from their private device to their office device, and their office devices will appear as being blank, like being pretty much turned off, but they're still able to work on their office devices. So again, even before the session itself starts, the customer or the end user has the ability to change those permissions to any way that he likes. He can even set them up with different profiles. So for example, we have a screen sharing profile. As you can see, every permission is turned off. The person that is now connecting would only see the other side. And then of course, we also have full access. And there we see that the user then has completely full access on every permissions during that session itself. Those profiles can also be later on in the admin portal pretty much be set up just the way that our customers would like. They can create new profiles, they can delete all those profiles, and they can even set up the clients to even allow permission change or not. So this is pretty much what you just see on the standard client. But the great thing about AnyDesk is that you can pretty much just create clients in just a way that you would wish. Yeah, so once everything has been set up, I can then just accept the connection itself, and I can see that the connection is now running. And let's see what happened on the other side. I'm going back to my main device. And as you can see, the connection is now running and I'm connected to that other device. I'm even able to see, for example, all the system information about that device. For example, what kind of hardware he is using. This is very helpful for customers that, for example, are using AnyDesk to support other end users. If I click on this one, I can even see what kind of encryption is used, and I can see what kind of port is used during this connection. If I would connect to a device that has multiple screens, I would have the ability to change between screens right there. So I can have multiple screens at the same time. And for example, I also have the ability maybe to switch sides, to show somebody something else on my side and then switch it back. Another very interesting feature is, for example, the ability to remote restart. So for example, if I'm connecting from home to my office device and I want to restart it, it will automatically start the session again. So nobody else has to make the session happen. It will just start on its own. So those are the types of ways that AnyDesk can be used. And what I would like to show you is what it actually looks like on the admin side of it. So as Natalia already mentioned, we have two types of versions of how AnyDesk can be used by the customers. First of all, we have the cloud version of AnyDesk and the on-premises version. First, I'm going to show you the admin side of it on the cloud version. So for that, we are jumping into my.anydesk.com. Right now, I'm just using a small test device, but those are pretty much the credentials that the customer will get from us able to log in to my.anydesk. So once I do that, just a second, I'm going to change the language. So once I'm connected to that other device, there I have all kinds of information about my license. For example, I can see the namespace that I bought. This is just something that the customer will then able to have. Also, here we have statistics, and in those statistics, we can see how many clients are actually connected to that license, how many of them are online, and how many active sessions are running as of now with licensed clients. If I want to have more information about my licensed clients, I can click on the Clients tab. And there I see all kinds of information about those clients. For example, I can see their ID, I can see their alias. Just as I mentioned, an alias and an ID are pretty much the same and go together. I can see how long those clients are already online. So for example, this device is already 8 days online. And there I see the AnyDesk version of them. And that information is then pretty much right there. And I can even search for different kinds of clients. If I click on a client, I have the option to change the name of the client itself right there because I am the admin. And I also have the ability to remove the client completely. Once the client is removed, he will lose access to that license. This is something that I'm going to show you how that works later on. Also, I can see all the recent sessions that the client has been doing, who connected to him, when the session started, when it ended, and how long the session went. I can track pretty much everything about that client. If I jump into the Sessions tab, I can even see every session that was ever made with my licensed clients. And you can see that list is pretty long. And I can even, like, for example, check on what date those sessions happened. So as you can see, for example, if I want to see what happened during that time, then it's actually being shown to me right there. Our customers also have the ability to export every information to as table files, for example, Excel, or they can even use REST API to transfer all that information from my AnyDesk into their own tracking device to see all the sessions that were happening. But yeah, what I wanted to show you was how to create specified license and how our customers are able to create AnyDesk clients just the way that they would like them. For that, I'm going to jump into Files. And here we have the custom clients. And with the custom clients, again, the customer is able to create clients depending on specific use cases. So for example, if I create new custom AnyDesk client, I then have the ability to change all kinds of settings before the actual rollout of the client itself. So for example, I can search, I can pretty much choose which kind of operating system should be used. As Natalia already mentioned, with the enterprise version, we also have the ability to offer like an MSI package for especially for immediate rollouts. And also we have the ability to create an exe file, like a portable version of AnyDesk. Then I can pretty much change every kind of setting. Let's just say I'm creating clients for the end user. So the end user shouldn't have the ability to connect to other devices. He should just be able to receive support in that way. So I can set up the client to only have incoming connections only. This is one of the ways to do it. And I can also completely disable his settings. So the end user will not have the ability to actually change anything because I'm going to set up everything right here. I can also completely disable the address book. So the user will not actually see the address book that I've shown you before. And we also have the ability to automatically register the alias. That is something that I've shown you a little bit about at the beginning. So for example, once the client starts for the first time, automatically it will use the computer name. So you don't have to actually name the clients yourself. You immediately adapt the computer name. Of course, then we have the option to assigning them to the license automatically. So you don't have to, or the customer doesn't have to copy the license key and actually enter it into their own clients. They can just roll out clients that are already licensed. And once those clients are licensed, they will, of course, show up on my.anydesk. And then I have the option to automatically add them to an address book. So again, I can create different kinds of address books. And I can even decide once the client starts for the first time, then it should create an entry in this address book. And this will also happen completely automatically. I was talking about the namespace itself. And again, you are a security company. So something that we always recommend our customers to do is use the access control list. We have a sort of like firewall whitelisting for the clients themselves. So if I use the access control list right there, I can type in a specific ID. And now only this ID will be able to connect to this client, and no other ID can be connected to this one. So of course our customer can then set up the IDs of the people that are supporting into the end user clients, and then nobody else will be able to connect to them. But of course, you don't have to type every available ID. You can also set up like a wildcard principle. And this is pretty much where the namespace comes in, because the namespace itself gives you the ability to, for example, set up the alias of the people that are supporting the end user with that namespace. So for example, you have a Robin at company, you have a Natalia at company. So and you can set up the end user that only specific people that have the namespace right there will be able to connect. So if anybody else in the world would try to connect to that end user, they would not be able to do that. They would be blocked. Only people that have that specific namespace will be able to connect. And this is where the custom namespace comes in, because only licensed clients from specific customers have their own namespaces. So not anybody can just come in and name themselves what they want. They need to be licensed. And this is also where you, for example, can remove a client. Let's just say that one of our customers has an employee that is leaving the company. Then his client can just be removed from the license on my.anydesk.com, and then he will not be able anymore to connect to other clients. Later on, I'm going to show you what it actually looks like on setting it up with the on-premises version, which gives you the even more secure variant of AnyDesk itself. But again, after that, you have then a choice, for example, if you want to later on install it as a global service, or if you really want to run it just as a portable version. Right now, we're just going to use the portable version. Again, this area is pretty self-explanatory. You have the option, or the customer has the option to change the icon. He can upload his logo right there. This will then show up on his device. And we also have the ability for advanced options. So advanced options gives you a list of different key values. And those key values can be used to set up the clients in just the way that you would like. So in order to see the list of the key values, you can jump into our Help Center and go to Advanced Options. And there in the Advanced Options is a list of all kinds of different key values that can be used to set up AnyDesk in just the way that you would like. So you see that list is very, very long, and you have so many different kinds of features that can be enabled and disabled. And this can be used right there. I can give you one very good example. Let's just say that one of your customers has like a specific end user, and this end user is not allowed to actually allow file transfer. So no file is allowed to actually be copied over to the other device or downloaded from the other device. Then the customer has the ability to go, for example, to file transfer settings and just copy this specific key value and enter it into this window right there in the custom client creator. Once the client now starts and is rolled out, he will not have the ability to use the file transfer. This feature is now not possible with this client anymore. And this is pretty much how you can set up the clients themselves with all kinds of different things. You can create specific permission profiles. You can decide if the end user client should be allowed to have specific permissions already enabled or disabled. And all those things are able to be done by the customer. And this is the thing, AnyDesk does not just come out of the box. You pretty much can form it in just the way that you would like for any kind of different use case. Once that is done, the client can then just be saved right there and can then just be downloaded. We can create public download links, but also specific download links where you need AnyDesk credentials to download those. But of course, customers have all kinds of ways to roll out the clients with their software. Again, as Natalia already mentioned, with the enterprise version, there will be MSIs. So for example, they can also just do MSI rollouts for their end users. And this is how it looks like for the cloud version itself. I wanted to show that to you first to show you what the on-premises version of AnyDesk actually does, because it's very similar with one very big exception. So let's just jump into the on-premises version, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I actually prepared something. So first of all, the on-premises version itself pretty much allows you to run AnyDesk on your own specific server. And that server is created on a Linux machine that is running in the same network. I prepared a small Linux machine right there, a small test device. And I can pretty much just have access to that server by logging in to a specific port. Right now, I'm using the 8100 port. So you see, I'm not connecting to any kind of website. I'm actually connecting to my network port. And you see, once I do that, I'm able to log in. Those credentials are also created by me. And once you log in into the client itself, it looks pretty much like this. And as you already remember from the cloud version, it looks very, very similar to my.anydesk.com, with the big exception that we are not on my.anydesk.com. We are on the server side. So you see all that information about your different clients that you have under your license, or the sessions that you're using. All of them are saved on the server side of it, and is not part of my.anydesk.com in any way. Even the clients that you create are just connecting to your own server and are just connecting with each other in their network. That is, for example, we have many use cases where we have customers that are, for example, maybe police stations or banks, and those really do not want any outside influence or any outside connection with the internet to interfere, and really want to work in their own network environment. And this is how you can do it, by setting up AnyDesk just like that. For that, you can just go to my.anydesk.com. And this is what it looks like for the on-premises version. You see the Files tab still exists. You still create customized clients on my.anydesk.com, but you give them new information. If I go to settings right there and go to on-premises, there I can set up different kinds of options. For example, I created a server right there, and I can download that server certificate and I can upload it on that side. And that way, that server certificate is then uploaded to my.anydesk.com and even the server address. And once that is uploaded, the clients are fed with this kind of information. And once they're rolled out, they will not connect to the cloud version of AnyDesk, but to their own server, and will interact in their own specific environment. So no client from the cloud version is able to connect to a specifically made on-premises client in that way. And this is pretty much the big difference with the on-premises version itself. It gives customers the security to work into their own network environment completely free by our own AnyDesk servers and our own cloud version of it. Normally, our customers are setting up the appliance themselves. They will get a small installation manual that shows you what kind of Linux distribution is supported. And after that, they have a small guide on how to install it. Again, the installation process itself takes about roughly 15 minutes. And after that, they can pretty much start using AnyDesk with the on-premises version. Usually when they're doing it during a testing phase or they have some questions, they then of course contact our support, and then we are going to help them on setting up their own server environment like that. Yeah, that was my small, very small compilation of what AnyDesk is able to do and how it looks like on different kinds of versions. So for example, the cloud and the on-premises version. Yeah, that was my small demonstration. And yeah, I think we are ready for Q&A. If you have any specific questions, then yeah, I would like to tell you about that. Okay.
Okay. Feel free to send a Q&A through the chat box, and if not, you can email Multipoint Group or AnyDesk at any time. We'll be happy to give you answers and to reply. And if we're finished, I want to thank you, AnyDesk team. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Natalia.
No problem.
And most of all, I would like to thank you, thank webinar audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. From our side, we would like to thank you also for this opportunity to introduce ourselves on your markets and to your partners and resellers. We have small request to you in case we will be contacted directly by partners. Please mention that you were participant of the webinar with Multipoint. In order we can work on these inquiries further. So we know it is just not the normal query coming into our ticket system, but those are special resellers, special partners coming from you, so that we can also work with you directly. Just mentioning they were participants of this webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you as well. So yeah, it seems like we do not have any questions as of now. But again, if there is anything, you can definitely reach out to us.
Thank you for your attention and look forward to answering your questions. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Have a great week and great business.
You too.
You too.
So,
Goodbye.
bye.
Bye-bye.